Disclaimer 1. What you are about to watch is technically the third part of a 3-part series, so if you want to watch the first part, go to Tyromaniac's channel to hear us discuss V's death, and then go to Unhelpful Commentary's channel to listen to our thoughts on Nori. Links to their channels will be in the description. Disclaimer 2. What you are about to listen to is an unscripted vanity moth, so prepare yourself for dorkiness, tangents, and overall lack of structure. Enjoy. Alright, so
brilliant.
we have 2 episodes left, right? Everyone agrees that this series is extremely fast-paced, and it's definitely trying to cram as much as it can in the remaining episodes that we have. But I think episode 7 is going to be pretty easy to predict, just because it kind of set up everything that we need to know. It's going to be underground in the labs with only Tessa, En, and Uzi, and Doll, so there's only so many ways that can really play out at this point. Firstly, every episode has been an homage to a famous horror movie of some sort. Like, last episode was obviously Jurassic Park, then episode 5 was Shining, episode 3 was Carrie, episode 4 was, I guess, Friday the 13th. It's kind of a stretch.
That'd probably be the closest.
That's the closest thing I can think
of.
You
can pick anyone.
Any of them.
It's like 400 movies. I don't know. I didn't even catch the Shining one because I kind of knew like episode 4 was, episode 3 was, like, but I didn't really think it was something they were like intentionally going for.
I wouldn't have assumed so, but one of their promo images was a like parody of the final shot in The Shining.
Oh yeah, it came.
Yeah,
it came from Copper 9 was one of the things.
Oh yeah,
like that whole thing.
Then there's that. But so episode 7, we're kind of left off with Uzi being possessed. And obviously, as in case you haven't seen on like Liam Vickers' SoundCloud, and I think it might be on Scary Story Time, but he has done remixes of the Exorcist theme, and I think it's probably one of his favorite movies, horror movies. And with Uzi being possessed, it's obviously going to be an homage to The Exorcist, right? So
probably
the entire episode is going to be Uzi getting more and more possessed, and we're going to have to see if En really wants to take the plunge and kill her, or like let the universe die, and Tessa's going to be pushing on him throughout the entire episode to do so. More than likely, with the way it's going to go, En will not kill her, obviously. Main character, plot armor, as we saw in episode 1. Plot armor, she has it, it's canon.
Yes, canon plot armor. I forgot. But what if she has it desactivated?
Oh yeah, it could. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Just turn off my plot armor real quick.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, like, Tessa's gonna get mad at En for not killing her, and she's gonna end up turning on them because Tessa, as much as I like her as an ally of the team, it just doesn't feel like something that will remain. More of like enemy of enemy, your friend kind of deal will probably be the remainder of the relationship after this episode. She'll get mad at En, try to kill Uzi, En will end up fighting Tessa, and we're either going to get a point, as we've seen with like the merchandise, they're teasing that maybe all 3 characters will die. I doubt it. I doubt En would die in the next episode.
That would be...
That'd be
you
one.
You thought the pushback to V dying was bad.
Oh, God.
Just wait.
Yeah, that would be... Oh. But at the same time, their romance has kind of come to a head, so this episode's going to focus on that as well. The romance, her being possessed, Tessa pushing on En, and they're probably going to end up confessing, and we'll get a conclusion to their entire romance arc, because there's only one more episode after this, and they do not have time to spend like more on the romance. They need to kind of wrap up all the plot details and all the character arcs and all everything. They have to wrap everything up in 2 episodes.
They're going to have to put a lot into this episode. Yeah, I don't know if you remember Scary Story Time with Liam, but you'd have like the last episode would always be like an hour long, and all the episodes before that were like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to do that with Murder Drones, because it's animation.
Could.
I'm figuring they're going to try to get this entire series out before 2024 in an hour-long episode. Each episode's like roughly 20 minutes, and it takes them like 2 to 3 months.
It takes 2 months, yeah.
So, that would be a while. I'd be impressed. Maybe they will. Maybe I assume it would be like a 30 or 40 minute episode, if I had to guess.
Yeah, definitely longer, but...
Yeah.
An hour, maybe not. 30, 40 minutes, yeah. An hour, I highly doubt they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, especially with the time they have left in the year. And also, Digital Circus is going to be coming out soon, so they probably want to get that out soon as well.
At some point.
Yeah, because they've got like half the animation team working on that now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Kevin Temmer's thing, because like he's
yeah.
the lead animator for the like entire company, and he did like 2 scenes.
Yeah, exactly. So they're kind of like shifting off of Murder Drones at this point and trying to like wrap things up, obviously.
Yeah. Well, because I imagine they probably would have a lot of the animations done. Oh, maybe not, but like, because it's not like they just finish one episode and just then start working on the next one. They're already working on it. It's just how much do they have done before?
Yeah, they got like a lot of production is like polish, coloring, lighting probably takes a lot of time with how they light the show. Voice acting, syncing, and more merch making. They got to make merch for every episode, so that probably pushes things out a little bit.
They gotta ruin my wallet.
Yep, ruin everyone's wallet, make everyone a little bit more poor. They're the good guys.
We've got to have money.
We got to have the money. So, episode 7 is going to be a reference to Exorcist. The romance arc will conclude. Tessa's going to betray them and either try to kill N and not succeed, or actually kill N, which might be a good plan just because it would give Uzi time to be main character again, because over the last, 2 episodes, she's been nothing more than just flirting with N. Episode 5 and episode 6, her entire character was just obsessing about N. She hasn't really been a main character. So episode 8 would be a good chance for her to shine, and in order to do that, they kind of gotta put N on the sideline in some way or form. And also, Doll will I don't want to say she'd be killed off, but she's gonna learn about what happened to her parents, and her arc is also gonna get resolved in some way. So she might team up with Uzi to help kill Tessa. They're probably gonna figure out what they have to do about the Absolute Solver at this point. I feel like episode 7 is going to be the giant lore dump and arc resolving episode. Arguably the most important episode in the series. Because
I think that's a fair bet.
Yeah, in episode 8, it's pretty hard to imagine, but we don't really have a horror movie homage to go off of all the episodes, because if you remember, in episode 1 isn't an homage, it's just an original, it's just setting up characters. It's not trying to be any horror movie. And it would make sense for episode 8 all to be like that, to just try to focus on the story and the characters instead of trying to make references to horror movies.
To just be Murder Drones, not trying.
I've been just wondering why the pilot always felt so different, and I guess I never really was able to put my finger on that.
Yeah, also the pilot was what? It was an 8-month gap between episodes. The pilot is weird.
It was 11. It was 13 months, because it was a year and then a month, basically.
I legitimately didn't even remember about Murder Drones until a month after the second episode came out, because it took so long. I didn't realize there was a second episode made till a month after it come out, because I completely forgot about the show by that point.
I hadn't actually found the thing until episode 2 came out, so I just watched both of them and then bought all the merch.
I just think it's funny. I think I've made Murder Drones videos longer than you guys have been on YouTube.
Yeah, you've been around for a while.
I found the pilot literally just one night. I was just on IMDb screwing around, and I found hey, wait a minute, what's this? And then I just made a video a week later.
You found it through IMDb?
Don't ask.
Why are you on IMDb in the first place?
I went down the Learning with Pibby rabbit hole.
Oh no!
And then it was just I was going down that rabbit hole, and then it literally just I scrolled down and I saw the cover art for Murder Drones, and I'm like, hold on, this is produced by Glitch, right? I think I've heard of this before. And then I just clicked on it, and I'm like, oh, I have to watch it now.
Hold on, there's a murder waifu on the cover.
hold on.
But you know about Scary Storytime with Liam before that, though, right?
No, I found out about. It was Murder Drones, and then from Murder Drones, I'm like, hold on, first Glitch series produced by someone else. Who's this other guy? So then I found Liam Vickers, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Internation Cube, Cliffside, what? Let's Split Up, what's this? And then Puppet Game kept popping up in my recommended from that, Puppet Game and Black Dogs, and I'm like, well, hold on, what's and then I found, so it was literally Murder Drones, then Liam Vickers animation, and then Scary Storytime with Liam.
It's always such a shock to find Scary Storytime with Liam if you've been introduced to the animation first. It just feels so weird.
Yeah, because it's what, where, where moving, why, still image, why?
Why? Why does this voice sound familiar? Why do these all these characters look similar in some way? Why is there so many murder waifus?
Huh.
But
God, that...
anyway, episode
Side
8.
tangent
Yeah,
over.
side tangent over. Episode 8, so yeah, like I said, we don't have much to go off of, but there is still a couple things that are left over. Obviously, it's going to be back above ground. Lizzie, Thad, and Khan are all going to return and have a moment of some sort, because there are characters that have been established and they have to come back at least one more time.
Surely, Thad at least.
We demand.
We demand, yes.
We need Thad. We need him back.
Yes,
I can't wait to see Khan solve the entire series by building a giant door around Copper 9. It's gonna be epic.
That's going to be the true conclusion. That's how they beat the Absolute Solver, just building it into a bunker with door after door after door.
Be like 100 doors all in a row.
100 doors and all in a row. But there also is the mystery that has kind of been swept under the rug, which kind of relates to what we talked about in the beginning, is Tessa landed alongside 2 other landing pods, and we have yet to see what were in those landing pods. And assuming Jay came out of the one with her, it's pretty obvious if N does die in episode 7 and V has died in episode 6, it's going to be their clones in the other landing pods, right? I doubt it would be different, new murder drones, because introducing new characters in the final episode would be a very strange idea.
Unless they want to set up a second season.
Yeah, unless they want to do that.
My assumption was just that whatever was inside of them was just did not survive the crash, because if you remember the pilot, they all 3 of them came down in one pod, and we see inside that pod, because it's where they've been hanging out in the beginnings of episode 2 and 3. There's room in there for 4 people, so it's if there were clones of J and N, or V and N, it seems like they would have come out of the same pod and not been sent down in separate ones.
But they did crash straight down, so you can suggest that
Right.
N is probably driving.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
They did crash into a fiery ball of flame, so it could totally... But then who would be in the other one? I guess they never taught V how to pilot, since he is the designated pilot, so it kind of makes sense. I don't think Tessa really planned that far ahead on that in the programming of the robots.
It's oh yeah, I probably should have taught them how to fly these
Probably should have taught them how to fly. And so, the only other thing we really know about episode 8 is, if you guys noticed in episode 6, when Bo? Yeah, the little baby drone, when he dies, the raptor smashes him into the oven that was filled with the corrupted cores, probably destroying the oven, meaning those cores escaped. And just like we established with V, there's plenty of material for them to consolidate to create whoever they were. So we could get 5 or 6 additional disassembly drones coming out of the lab, which again could set up for a second season, or it could be a giant murder drones versus murder drones battle.
It's gonna have an army of drones by the end of this.
It almost looked like the Sentinel was eating them though, because he was there for a long time for just Bo, because that was kind of what it looked like to me. But it could have just been he was just that obsessed with just chewing through Bo.
I would think that, but I don't think the Sentinels are designed to attack anything flesh related, and those things are purely they have robotic parts, right? So you'd think, but with the way they're
Yeah.
programmed, I don't think they're supposed to attack anything that doesn't identify as a robot, and I don't think those things really resemble more human organ than robot.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they still call it a core though, so it's got to be at least mostly robotic. And they
Yeah, it
just
got,
have the weird
has-
tendril things around it.
Yeah, it's surrounded in flesh, so it still has the mechanical legs and the light shining out of it, so it's possible. But I figured
Oh, yeah.
the Sentinel would be pretty confused about eating them or not. There would be a moment where it's confused.
Yeah, it'd just be what the hell is this thing?
What is that? So those things could break out, and that could end up being a thing. But other than that, I can't really think of much else they will do in episode 8. There is a possibility, if we follow the merch theory, that Uzi will die in the final episode, which is very Liam Vickers to do. Again, I don't think for his first true show he would go that extreme, especially since this show is more aimed towards kids than a lot of his previous works. So I think
Just
it
kill
would
off the entire
yeah.
cast.
yeah, kills. That's, I mean, Yeah, he's
And then everyone died.
and then that's
The end.
that's Liam. So they'll probably have a happy ending of some sort, but I can't really, unless they are setting up a season 2, which I don't think will happen, but I don't think they've confirmed it or not. If they are setting up a season 2, that completely derails all my theories. But that's all I can really think of for episode 8.
I was almost thinking, it seems to me based on nothing, I guess, but it almost feels like Uzi might end up becoming the final threat, because my idea that I was getting with Nori was that, well, from what we saw with Nori, is that, like, Sin will, or the Absolute Solver will just pick a drone, possess them, and then that's how it destroys the planets. Like, it's not just Sin flying through space, going to all these planets. It is the Absolute Solver taking over one drone that's already there. And so it seems like that's what's happening with Uzi right now, is where it's like, okay, so there's activity on this planet trying to stop me. I gotta shut it down. All right, we're just gonna pick you over there, purple one. Hot Topic. You're gonna be the one to black hole this place, and then that's what they're gonna be trying to stop in episode 8. I think you're right about episode 7 though.
And we do also get Tessa mentioning that she wants to find a list of all of the drones that have been infected so she can, like, kill all of them.
So there could be a lot more.
Yeah, there totally could be more. There's a plenty. They could set up season 2 so easily. They could just focus on a new group of disassembly drones. They could have it be a Tessa show where she just hunts down the remaining ones. They can go many ways with it. Like I said in my review for episode 6, Jay will probably do something in episode 8, and it'll probably be a big plot twist of some sort. Also, I don't know how, but I would be very surprised if Sin doesn't reappear in episode 8. But I don't know how she would have even gone off Earth unless she's, like, been smuggled there by someone.
Just N reaches into his back pocket. Oh yeah, I brought this thing, by the way. I don't know what it is.
Yes. Ends up, like, being, like, the true main character. Kills off Uzi. Happy ending is just him and Sin walking off in the sunset.
Exactly. They finally get to watch that movie they talked about.
Exactly, yeah, while drinking some oil tea. They kill Lizzie, Thad, and Khan and just drink their oil.
Exactly. How romantic.
Very, very romantic.
God.
What do you think, Uncom?
I think that if that happens, I may just cry.
I'm kind of worried about how episode 8 will turn out. I trust Liam, but I think Liam has always had, like, he's only finished one series, and I think he's always kind of had a hard time wrapping things up in a tidy way without a giant explaining the entire plot very quickly in an unorganized
English
way.
is hard.
Yeah. So if he had finished more of his series, I would have more confidence, but even with the way, like, Black Dogs ended, it kind of just ends very abruptly. It feels like
it was an open ending.
Yeah,
where it was like
an open ending too.
And then I think Yellow Halogen, technically Yellow Halogen got an ending, but also that was like a whole season 2 will be here, and then never touched it again.
The way Yellow Halogen ended is he made it with the idea of making a season 2, so it didn't really feel like an ending. So if they make a season 2 of Murder Drones, it will probably be more, like, tight-knit. It'll probably be more focused, but with Liam's, like, track record of ending, like, things, he's always just ended things on cliffhangers, even with, like, these episodes, but especially with the seasons of his, like, shows, like, anything he's really made on it.
Season 3.
Yeah, exactly. Design. Yeah. Perfect example. The way he ended Design seasons, he always ends off with cliffhangers, and we don't really see him actually end things permanently, unless you want to count his, like, short stories, which short stories are pretty different than a full-blown series. You have to kind of put a lot more effort
Pretty
into.
easy to end that.
Yeah. And most of the short stories always ends with, like, just the entire cast dying, so.
It's just like, oh yeah, by the way, they're all dead now.
Yeah.
But I guess with this, it is a little bit different because you'll also have the rest of the team and Luke and that trying to, actually get him to push it out and get an ending.
We've been saying it for months. They have him chained in the basement so he can't run away.
Yeah. Can't go back to finishing Indonesian Cube.
That's why he's only allowed to make one tweet per episode. and that's why you just never. He's just like gone off the internet outside of that.
You will write these episodes.
You will finish this series. You will give it a proper ending.
You will not give it a cliffhanger.
But yeah, that's all I really have for episode 7 8. I'm pretty confident on 7. 8 it can go anyway, really.
I'd say so, yeah.
All right.
So I guess that's pretty much it.
That's it. That's the trifecta finished.
There we go.
That actually went better than expected.
So that was it. That was my collaboration with the esteemed Tyromaniac and Unhelpful Commentary. I would like to thank Tyro for both inviting me and organizing this event, and Unhelpful Commentary for his commentary that didn't live up to his namesake, and that ASMR-worthy voice. And of course, thank you for watching.